Hey everyone who's tuning in right now to the Weather Show with Vin Crosby. I am meteorologist Vin Crosby, and it is around 7:36 Mountain Standard Time, and we do have some snow coming to the Treasure Valley. Can you believe that? Like we had the other day, only a little bit more is possible with this storm that is kind of rotating here on your screen down to the south and the west. I know that we won't have a lot of live viewers right now, but if you want to share this on your social media post, go right ahead. And then, of course, when it's done, it'll be sitting there for you to view overnight tonight and, of course, during the morning hours of your Wednesday. The system that is spinning there is a pretty big storm system. It is coming on in from the west-southwest direction. You can clearly see it kind of jumping there with the last few frames here with this. But let me show you this picture here. It really shows exactly what's going on with this system. Clearly, this is from earlier in the day where you can see a lot of the clouds spinning across the region, and that is coming on in through California and back on across the Sierra Nevada mountains. There's a lot of that speckled cloud cover back behind it over the Pacific Ocean. That is an indication of very cold air moving on down. And look how far south it goes along the west coast, all the way down to Southern California. Today was a fairly mild day in the Treasure Valley until the clouds and the wind picked up during the afternoon. And then this area low pressure that's down just offshore of California is starting to make its way inland, and it's going to pinwheel and turn right up over much of southwest Idaho through the Sierra Nevada mountains, almost right along US 95 from the areas of Nevada back on up through Idaho. This center will track along those yellow dots, and when that happens and that spin comes on top of us right around tomorrow morning, any precipitation that is out there will turn over to rain in many areas in the west, to snow rather. It'll go from rain to snow. Let's get that clear. So right now, we can see that we have this system here rotating on through much of the west. Matter of fact, let me stop it here and give that a good refresh so we get the latest update there with the radar here in the west. Now we get a good idea of what's going on. And now let's go in and just do a little playing around with the radar, which I love to do. So you can see this, if I pull back here, it's clear to see where that spin is and how it is coming on inland. This going on through the last 30 minutes or so. You can see the center pretty much just north of Sacramento in California, coming up over the mountains and going on through Nevada and getting in towards southern areas of Idaho. The rain looks to be just south, and then back over in eastern Idaho. Check this out. We're seeing these yellow spots and the reds. That's heavy rain, maybe a clap of thunder. And then, of course, bright banding of some, in the higher elevations, there could be some snow, of course, and that's what the radar is picking up. But this is probably some very heavy rain and maybe even a clap of thunder or two, as that is still in the warm sector over there east by Pocatello and Idaho Falls. And then back here in Boise, we can see we do have some showers coming on in just along, looks like the Snake River Valley. And then notice how they're rotating, too, from the east back towards the northwest direction. This is because we're on the north side of that area low pressure. And so with that spin, the counterclockwise spin, we're getting the precipitation coming on in from an easterly moving to the westerly direction at this point. And so we can see that right there with the latest band, those heavy reds and, well, just yellows right now, greens and yellows. Those are some heavier showers. And that looks to be down just right along the southern Ada, Southern Canyon County border with Owyhee County. And that will continue moving on up in towards the north and west direction. So this trend will continue. It is all rain outside right now as these bands will continue to move on through in our direction. But until this center, way back in here, rotates on top of us, that will be the final push that turns any rain over to snow in the Treasure Valley. And, of course, it will be snow in the higher elevation. So all this down here to the south, especially once you get into the colder air back here in western and northwestern Nevada, that is when we'll see the changeover to mostly snowy conditions. So traveling down through US 95, through Jordan Valley, northern Nevada, back and even across most of the Idaho mountains, all this will be some pretty significant snows as we go on through. Do we have anybody out there watching or viewing right now? Just say hello in the chat. Give me a little message there and say where you're watching from, and we will go from there. I'm going to go and check myself and see if we got anybody watching right now. Or I could be just talking to myself, and it may be for somebody later on, and that's just fine. So I don't see anything there. See something here. And I've got one like. I got 4. Yay, we got 4 people watching. It's all good. It is all good. So let me go back to my recording device and keep talking, because you love to hear me talk. I like to hear myself talk because I'm just a self-centered person. All right, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but I like doing this. I love bringing you the information. So let's go and check out some observations right now and see what we have going on. So now this tells me a very perfect story here. So you can see, for the most part, the observations here. This is live and current. And those wind barbs coming off from, they look like they're pointing towards the east. That means the wind's coming from the east. And so some pretty good wind gusts, too, down around Hawaii County. That's wind gusts in the 30s, around 29, 32 miles per hour. Some sustained winds down towards the south will continue wrapping around that area low pressure. And as that happens, all these easterly winds will eventually turn to a more northwesterly direction tomorrow morning. And then that's when the changeover from rain to snow will occur. Temperatures right now, 45 degrees in Boise. Looks like we're around 46 degrees in Meridian. Obviously, the dew point temperature, which is that blue number, is pretty high. So under these conditions, we would never have any snow fall in this type of an environment. But when the upper level low, the very big core or spin of cold air aloft, rotates on top of us, that will add more lift to the atmosphere. That adds some more cooling to the atmosphere, and that will change the rain over to some wet snow and then just some snow as the colder air gradually makes it on into the picture. This going in the early morning hours to right around the morning commute, and then gradually tapering off as we go towards late in the morning hours. So it is going to come, unfortunately, right during the morning commute hours. So there you go. Oh, we got a couple of people there. I love it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you for watching, folks. I saw the Surveillance Operator Zero watching from Boise. We got Josh Kidd. I got Russell Hills from Nampa watching, and Joaquin Holy. Yeah, hey, good to see you. Good to see everybody watching. And, hopefully we can get the views up. But if not, it'll be on here and people can watch at their convenience. Maybe they're watching the old election results tonight. Big red wave happening out there. Isn't that crazy? Pretty wild stuff in the old political realm. But for us, the big story is, if you're just tuning in now, let me go back and show you. It is this thing right in through here. And so I want satellite interact. Here it is. So this storm system here is what we're looking at, and this is what's going to come rotating on through. I am looking for that so I can draw. And so, yeah, this area low pressure right in through here, this is the spin that I was talking about. And then as this spin tracks right on up over us tonight in this fashion towards tomorrow morning, it should be right around here. And so all this moisture that is going to be coming on through will be in the form of rain. And then when that spin gets on top of us, that's when your changeover is going to happen. It's going to be windy. It's going to be cold. Dress warm. A lot of cold rain is the worst. I'd rather have all snow personally myself, but that's just the way it goes here. But all this speckled cloud cover back behind the system, always an indication of the cold air wrapping around. It's a big, big area of weather. This whole mass is coming on through. Let's go and check out those right in through here. There's a good chance we could be seeing some thunder out here in eastern areas of Idaho with this system as it moves on through. Back to the radar we go, and I'm going to go to a local radar, and specifically out here in eastern Idaho. And yeah, so now you can see there's a pretty good sized amount of precipitation coming on through. I think that's a lot of bright banding in the clouds as the precipitation being picked up by the radar. This right in through here, that orange and yellow, it brings back bigger returns, higher on the scale down below, and I believe that is what we're seeing here. On these detailed Doppler radars, you can always go in and see what the precipitation type is. It does a really good job of now depicting of where the rain-snow line is with this particular system. And so it is picking up frozen precipitation right there, the HA, the hail, or granules of snow or precipitation in that pink or kind of peach color. Then the red color is the hail. Green, of course, is the rain. And then the darker green's heavy rain. So all this is rain. And then up in the higher elevations, it's pretty obvious that we're seeing snow. So a lot of it, too, coming on down in the mountains over there in East Idaho. So it should be a good start to our snowpack for this basically on the beginning. We're not even at winter, the beginning of fall of the snow. So we told you that we're going to have a lot of snow last week in the mountains. We did. Now this is going to add another over here, a lot of snow. So let's take a look at how much snow totals are coming our way. How about we do that? And that's what this model is going to show us right in through here. So I'm going to take that down. And what you're looking at here is, this is a computer forecast model, and I've tried to put some times on there to give you a little semblance of the snow totals. And on the left side of the screen, you can see the scale there. And Idaho, Boise's being right in through here in the middle. So as this system moves on up, you can get a sense of when the snow will come on through into the region. So right there you can see is like a path that cuts right across Idaho. And now as I go in for a closer look, and we'll zoom in a little bit here in just a second. This is coming in right around daybreak tomorrow. You can see the snow starting in southeastern areas of Oregon, back down in northern Nevada. There's a purple area there. That's 6 inches of snow. The light green is around 2 inches. The darker green is around 3 inches. And up the scale we go to the darkest shade of green, which is 4 inches of snow. Then the purples and the yellows, that's where you get up to around a foot of snow. Up there around Stanley is where that yellow dot is, in Idaho, right in the middle. And that, of course, is right in through here. This now going overnight tomorrow night and in towards Thursday morning, dangerous travel up I-15 over into Montana. I-90 will be just a wreck. Interstate 80 is not going to be a fun place to go as well. So let's go back and do that again because... Yeah. So I wanted to show you again that precipitation, this storm system as it moves on through. And there's 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. Notice that you can see, I can stop it right there, the rain changing to snow right there. And you can see how that band comes right across the Treasure Valley. Now, down towards the Magic Valley, notice there's not a lot of precipitation in the form of snow. It's going to be rain. So the cold sector, like I said, it has to be right along where that spin in the upper atmosphere is moving across the region. And that's why we're seeing a very narrow band. Jordan Valley, 95, right up on in through Weiser, and then cutting right across the board there through Emmett, getting on up in towards the Boise Mountains, a little bit into the west central mountains. And that is going into the morning hours tomorrow morning. And then by 11 o'clock, we see the snow start really pulling out. But I want you to notice the purple area right along the Jordan Valley area here. Very dangerous. So that's around 6, maybe even 8 inches of snow in spots right around the Jordan Valley, right along US 95. That is not going to be a fun place to travel. I would say avoid traveling that tomorrow morning for sure. Then you can see the heaviest snows Back up here, you're looking around 6 to maybe 14 inches of snow in Stanley, and a line right on up across northern areas, northeastern sections of Idaho, up around Hebgen Lake, and then getting up just to the west ends of Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming. And, of course, all these areas getting snow. Notice the Sierra Nevada getting pounded as well. There's something like 30 inches of snow down in the higher elevations there. Certainly some good stuff there. And then, of course, as we go in here in a second, we will, let's see if it'll let me do that. Oh, yeah, it does. It lets me kind of zoom in for you. So here, as we zoom in, now you can see southwest Idaho. And boom, there's your 5 o'clock Wednesday morning. And you can see that band of snow coming on through. So again, it's going to be right where the center of that spin comes on top of us as we go on in through. Let me get the right system here. As we go on in through the overnight hours. So on the Boise side of things, let me go and get the radar and interact with the radar. So here's the way things are shaping up in Boise right now for the precipitation that's out there. You can see most of it in the valley is green. There is some snow in the higher elevations already being picked up on the radar coming on in from the south. Remember that as we go into here and put it into motion, the bands are coming in tonight and tomorrow from the east, backing towards the west. And then as the area low pressure moves up over us, those winds and those precipitation amounts will come on in from a more west direction. And then that's when we'll start to see the rain change over to snow. But windy bands of rain look to be coming on in across the Treasure Valley right now. And Nampa, Caldwell should be starting to rain. Pretty good band of rain. Looks like down here, just southeast of Boise, around Orchard. And that's going to be coming on up towards the Micron area. So we got some pretty good little bands of rain moving in. This is going to be quite a windy event as well as the system moves on in from the south to the north. And so one more time with this zoom satellite picture. This does a really good job of telling us where the system's coming from, where it's going. It's this upper level area of low pressure right in through here. And then little spins that are coming on in behind it. That's going to kind of reinforce things. And thank you for sharing that on Facebook, by the way. Surveillance Operator Zero. Who is that? I see the face. I can't make out who you are, my friend. So this system will... You can see the jet stream there track right along those yellow dots. So if you're traveling anywhere tomorrow, you can see the flow of the clouds tonight or tomorrow. We recommend not doing that. Heavy rain snows back up along I-15. This system's going to roll right along the Boise Mountains. So 21 is not going to be fun. 55 is not going to be fun to drive along. But it's not going to be a crippling storm. I should paint that picture for you. This is going to be maybe 1 to 3 inches in the Treasure Valley in spots. And then as the system kind of moves out, I won't say we get a lot of melting, but there will be some melting in the afternoon when the cold air settles on in. Tomorrow night, going on into Thursday morning, that's when we'll see some fog. And I think we'll see some of that and have to deal with some slick spots after the system moves on through, because temperatures will fall back down to freezing. And so your Wednesday night into Thursday morning commute may actually be more slick and more dangerous than what you're going to experience tomorrow morning, because there'll be snow on the roads, but you can get a little bit more better traction with snow than you can with the ice, that's out there, especially the black ice on bridges. This system is going to kind of continue to pinwheel across the region. Let's go see our observations right now. And so what we have in Boise, I've got 45 degrees, 46 degrees back towards Meridian. I'm going to refresh this just to get the very latest. And it's still at 45. So the black number to the northwest, just to the north, or top left, I should say, of the circle is the temperature. That's your air temperature. And then I can add this, the dew point temperature, which measures the moisture in the atmosphere. That's the blue number. And then if you see some of these red numbers, that is the latest wind gust or the highest wind gust in the region. Back down here, we can see, it's just windy. It's not really damaging winds. This one's going to be windier, of course, down in the wind zones, like down around Mount Home, where you get wind gusts around 39 miles per hour. That's a pretty good wind gust there. It's probably around the bridge. Did I see it? Yeah, that's the bridge down through the valley there. 46 miles per hour. So that wind whipping down in through here, coming right up into that high spot, right around where the base jumpers do their thing. If you haven't been down there, it's pretty wild to watch them go. Not me. I like the ground. I'm not a big elevation dude. All right, so that's kind of it. That's what we have going on. Winter weather advisories are in effect by the National Weather Service, and they go until overnight tonight, right until about 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. They may update that in the morning if this area spin kind of makes a move a little bit to the west, a little bit towards the east. But right now, things are pretty much on track as far as the forecast models go. And again, one more time with snow totals. And so notice the mass of snow in the Sierra Nevada. And then the system expands to the northeast overnight tonight. The rain changes the snow in the valley, and you see that little area. Heavier snows in the west central and the Boise Mountains. Heaviest back over, of course, towards Stanley. And then it just gets really nasty back out in Montana. Lots of purples, lots of yellows. By the way, that yellow area is around a foot of snow. And when it gets the red and the oranges, that's up around 30 inches of snow. That's around North Dakota, South Dakota, Rapid City area. Whiteout conditions. By that time, most of the precipitation will be gone across much of the west. Also notice in northern Utah, we do get some snow coming on down. Not a lot or a whole lot around Snowville as this system moves on through, but of course those areas you got to watch out. The good news out of all this is the temperatures have been above freezing, right? So temperatures are up, mid-40s. There's leaves out there, which also adds a little bit of insult to injury because they can get pretty slick with just the wet roads. But then you can see as the colder air kind of moves on through, we will start to see snow showers start to form back over, once the cold air comes on down. Just spotty areas down around southern areas and southeastern areas of Idaho. The biggest swath of snow will be right along that area's spin as it continues to move on up across the region. I want that one. Let me interact with this and get this out of here for you. Refresh this. And then the base map here, you can see the lights of Boise right in through there. And then the area of spin that we're talking about right into there. It's a lot of great detail with this satellite picture, too. You can see this little fanning of the clouds right in through there. See how they're kind of frayed off? That's what we call diffluence. Notice how they just kind of feather themselves off right up through there. That's the winds or the jet stream in the higher levels of the atmosphere kind of shearing off some of those clouds. It tells us as meteorologists this is a very unstable situation as this storm system moves on through. This area spin right through here. Will continue tracking towards the northeast and get up on top of us eventually by daybreak tomorrow. So I think I've talked long enough. This system, let me take a look at one last thing with the satellite here. And that would be the big picture. Because looking at the big picture tells us a little bit more of what's going on. Of course, the draw is right over where I wanted it. So I'm going to move this down here. So you obviously can see here's Alaska right in through there. There's the Aleutian Island chain. Seattle, Portland, here's Boise right there. Here's our system coming through down here. So that gives you a perspective of where we're looking at. This system out here. So once we get done with this system, and that moves out, we have this system back out through here. So when this one finally gets its act together and the pattern breaks down from the ridge that's kind of in here, that's when we're going to start to see an extremely active wintry pattern develop across the west. Remember, last year at this time, the drought was wiped out. From this time in through early December, it was like gone. And we're seeing a little bit of that pattern developing again, where we get system after system kind of rotate on through. So with the folks that make snow in those ski areas, and Bogus, of course, with their new equipment, and then you got Sun Valley, there's a good chance that many of these areas may be open in like a few weeks. I mean, right around Thanksgiving, we may have some ski areas open and being able to get out there, because it looks pretty active as we keep getting the systems moving on in. And then, of course, the cold air coming on in behind it across the region. So before I let you go, I am going to take one more look at the radar. Let me refresh it here for you. And there it is. You can see the heavy stuff already building to our south, right over the Oahe Mountains, down around Melba, Marsing. Just some horizontal rain, some windswept rain coming on through. And then when that cold air mass gets on top of us for tomorrow morning, we're going to see some snow. Hey, thanks for watching. Subscribe. Tell your friends and family to subscribe. Big shout out to my good friend Cody Wilson over there of the Treasure Valley Weather Headquarters. I went to vote today, and the lady behind the desk said, "Hey, you know Cody?" I said, "Yes." And I told her the story how he used to be my weather intern, went on to become a meteorologist. Now he's the most followed person doing weather in all of Southwest Idaho, more than any TV station, more than any other webpage. It's a remarkable story. Couldn't be more proud. I gave him a shout out today and let him know that interaction. Doing a lot of good for the valley, that young man. And couldn't be more proud. So we are seeing weather, and we like to talk about weather on the Weather Show at Vin Crosby. Give us a follow. And then, of course, share with your friends and family. I'd appreciate that. And I'm going to definitely be following you or coming and giving more broadcasts to you more frequently as winter has rolled around. You guys have a blessed night. Thanks for watching.